harassment right there. Mountain King is the anti-harassment hero. And I'm tier 3 at this point. So right now I'm going to try and get the bear upgrade. As I was saying a minute ago, if you're able to run in there and take out a few of these tier 2 bears, deny me the units, and gain the massive experience that they do give, they're pretty easy to pick off. So that's a good idea. But right now Illusive is clearing out his expansion. Does have that Flute of Accuracy, adding the boosted damage to his water elementals and his rifles. Pretty nice. Free Priestess of the Moon. And right about now I have my 5th bear popping out, so I think it's about time I do some power creeping. Usually what you want to do when you're doing a bear tech is to do the harassment early on and do the creeping when you get the bears. So Illusive right now is looking for an expansion. Does notice I have 5 bears, so he's just going to go ahead and retreat. There's no way his army can engage 5 bears, being all he has is 6 rifles, which would get eaten alive. So he does a smart thing and backs off here. And as for myself, I'm getting a few dryads. I did notice he had rifles and foots, so I was expecting sorceress and priests about now. But you will notice that Illusive is doing something a little different this game. Instead of getting priests and sorceress, he is indeed putting up 2 griffin aviaries. And in case you did not know this, griffins counter bears, rifles counter dryads. So that's basically what he's doing. He's taking a little bit of a risk here. The risk factor is the fact that I have 5 bears and dryads, and all I have to do is attack him, and I could probably win the game right here. But one of the other mistakes I make this game is I was not scouting. I didn't have any scout wisps around the map, and I'm not putting any effort to looking around for any expansions right now, and any techs or anything. So that was pretty much a disadvantage that I wasn't aware of at the time. Probably because I was feeling pretty confident in the fact that I hadn't lost to any human players in a very long time at this point. And I have pretty powerful bears with the armor upgrade, and now I'm putting up an expansion, so I was feeling pretty confident. So I wasn't really too worried. I was just concentrating on doing some power creepings at the moment. As for my opponent, his job is mainly to stay away from me as long as possible so that he can get as many griffins out and probably surprise me later on in the game. So that's exactly what he's doing. Adding a few priests to his army. He's going to head up the map and towards that big red creep with a level 10 big fat ass creep right there. That's a big one right there. He had dropped some pretty bomb ass items. It drops the Mask of Death, which is it's an alright item. The Crown of Kings is a really good item, and of course the Tome of Power. Now that is one badass item. Just imagine having a level 5 Mountain King and you pick up the Tome of Power and get a level 6 Mountain King, because the Tome of Power gives you a free level. Pretty good item. So as for myself, I'm doing a little bit of creeping here, killing those shamans, hitting level 3 on the 2 level 3 heroes, pick up the Spiked Collar. It's an okay item. As for Illusive, he's doing some massive creeping here on that big creep right there. It goes down. He picks up a Tome of the. he picks up a Crown of the Kings. Really good item. Plus 5 to everything. Basically an all-around good item to have on any hero. So he finishes up there, and of course I head up there a little too late. Too late for the Creepjack. So he does a smart thing and just TP's out right here. I do a little bit of a mana burn on the Mountain King. Doesn't really affect him too much, being he has a Mana Stone and Brilliance Aura, so he's going to get that mana back pretty fast anyways. As for myself, I'm continuing my ignorance this game, and instead of attacking at this point, I'm just going to continue creeping. So go ahead, do your thing there. So anyways, as for my opponent, Illusive has those griffins coming out pretty soon. He has 3. He's going to try and put up an expansion. He's just scouting around.
Your building is complete.
And as for myself, my expansion is up and running now at this point. And I have level 3 Demon Hunter, level 3 Keeper. He has a level 4 Archmage and a level 3 Mountain King. Alright, so he does a little bit of harassment using those griffins to focus fire on my tree, but unfortunately I used my teleport scroll opposed to just running up there, being I was so close anyways. So I overreacted. Yet another mistake of mine. So here I am stuck at my expansion, just idle, while my opponent continues to creep. So one thing you might want to note to yourself also is never stand idle. So that's another thing I picked up on as I watched the replay. And my opponent right now has rifles, priests, griffins, and I still have the typical bear, dryads, and now I'm adding some fairy dragons. Putting up a couple APs, keep those griffins out of my expansion, and my opponent has his expansion up and running. So at this point, I have thoroughly allowed my opponent to mass up tier 3 counters to my units and get an expansion. So that's what happens when you don't scout. As for myself, I'm finally attacking at this point. Griffin's flying around doing a little bit of scouting. At this point, I do see those griffins flying in the corner, so I'm fully aware he has griffins. So at this point, I'm going to look for an expansion. So he runs out of the way there. And I run up the hill. Do notice there's an expansion, so I go ahead and head up the hill with my bears. 2 to the armor upgrade, 1 to the attack upgrade. Pretty powerful. He runs his griffins over, notices I have Dryad, so he runs out of the way. And Illusive brings his army down to where I'm at. So his idea is going to try and defend this, he's not actually going to try and defend this, expansion of his, because obviously it gets taken down. What he's trying to do is he's trying to trap me up inside this little, hill right here. He is at the disadvantage, that is true, he is down the hill. But then again, he has the perfect counter to my whole army. Griffin's focus firing my bears, taking all my bears out pretty effectively. I'm using no dispel on those water elementals, focus firing the wrong units, and generally allowing my heroes to be focus fired. So Griffin's focus firing my Demon Hunter, and of course I burned that Scroll of Town portal before, so now I have no portal scroll, 2 weak heroes, no bears, and dryads. Demon Hunter goes down. Keeper of the Grove being focused right now, and Keeper goes down pretty soon. Keeper goes down, so now I'm left with dryads and fairy dragons and nothing else. So basically, I learned that don't ever engage your opponent unless you have a teleport scroll. Better yet, don't ever engage up a